Okay, so today I'm just going to start off by, telling you things that I can remember from my childhood. So I grew up in Rochdale in the 70s and 80s, and back then people told the truth. So if there was a kid who said that they were a cat or Superman or something, even at primary school, people would say, like, "No, you're not. You're just a kid from Rochdale." Let alone somebody who's XX trying to pass themselves off as XY or vice versa. And when somebody did try to pass off a falsehood, there was a couple of phrases that I remember being used in response. One of them was Jackanory, and Jackanory was a BBC TV programme, and it was basically very old-fashioned programme in that somebody read from a book and told a story for half an hour. You can't imagine that happening today, can you? With kids as they are today, they just have no attention span. And then, so that was the first phrase that was used, Jackanory. So basically it was a way of telling the person who was telling the lie that you weren't buying their lie and that they were telling you a story. The other one was the word spinner. So somebody would say spinner. I did actually sort of sing it, maybe repetitively. They'd say something like spinner, spinner, spinner. And basically two ideas about where that came from. First was just like a spider's web of lies, which is quite sophisticated really for sort of 10 and 11-year-olds, but that's basically what used to happen. Or the other one was, Rochdale was a textile town based on spinning cotton. So that's the first thing to say, the childhood memories. Second thing is, at the moment, we've been fed a long diet of lies, but I don't know about you, but I think that as time goes on now, those lies are becoming absolutely ridiculous. Like a child trying to pass themselves off as a cat. And the two examples that I've got is, first of all, is Vladimir Putin. I made a couple of videos about 18 months ago when all of this kind of fiasco first started, where I basically just told the truth that he was a former World Economic Forum young global leader for tomorrow. He's been on film with Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab has actually publicly called him a World Economic Forum graduate, one of their people. And what's been happening. So I promised that I wasn't going to do any more videos on Ukraine and stuff, because it was just such an obvious psychological operation. There's been hardly any pictures of any like real fighting going on, with all the camcorders, video phones and all the rest of it. So, it's just complete nonsense. And it was used as the cover story to unleash the inflation, wasn't it? Blaming it on Putin. The goal being to collapse the economy and your standard of living so that you'll accept central bank digital currencies, and and the control grid that's going to go with those via the social credit scores that will determine whether you can or can't buy something, like a foreign holiday or a train ticket, like what they've got in China already. So it's not a conspiracy theory; it's already happened in China. Okay, so anyway, we had over the weekend we had this Wagner rebellion. I don't even know what phrase they used, but it's absolutely pathetic, and it all came to nothing, wasn't it? You know why that was? Because it was nothing in the very beginning. It was a nothing. It didn't happen. So they wanted us to believe that this geezer with a few thousand men, no air cover, was able to advance towards Moscow. With no air cover, and Putin's got a big air force. What would you have done if you really were an evil dictator? Answer: you'd have asked a couple of planes to take off and just completely annihilate that column. So that was always just a complete non-story. And then the other complete non-story was the submarine carrying those well-known billionaires that you've never heard of and will never hear of again. And the submarine was made of fiberglass. And it was going to go down like to some tremendous depth with the pressure. And we were expected to swallow that nonsense. I put it to you that those people never existed, that submarine never existed, and it was just complete Jackanory. Over the years we've been told some real Jackanory crackers, like some men went to the moon inside a giant tin can fueled by some fossil fuels, I mean dinosaur juice. Then there was the terrorists on the London Bridge, who were defeated by some have-a-go hero who stole a whale tusk from a museum and tackled them with that, with a narwhal spike or something. Utter nonsense. Then we had Saddam's WMD. You know, he was conspiring with Al Qaeda or whatever they were called. We got other everyday classics like banks make loans from savers deposits. The government is serious about trying to limit immigration. All complete and utter Jackanory. So my question to people is, have you had enough with being had, being treated as a fool? And that's a good one to ask the normies. So what's it all about then? The simple answer is energy harvesting. That's part of it. So they want to distract you, they want to harness your energy, and they don't want you looking at things that might be of far more significance for you. So they just come up with this nonsense. It's a bit like that kiddies film Monsters Inc. They're the monsters, and they're trying to tap into your energy. That your energy is what they feed off. So what do you do about it then? Simple answer is don't engage with it. If you do engage with it, maybe on social media, just very simply, I just call it Jackanory. I just write Jackanory or hashtag Jackanory or utter nonsense, or just keep it really short and sweet, and just tell them that you're not buying their Jackanory nonsense. You're not buying into their energy harvesting, and indeed you're just going to laugh at them, just ridicule it. You know, you expect me to believe that? No way, I'm not believing it. It's just Jackanory nonsense. Yeah, and the other thing as well is just be very careful about clicking on these stories that appear in the likes of the Daily Mail, because they'll judge the success of their psychological operation on the basis of the number of clicks that their Jackanory stories manage to create. So whatever you do, don't click on any BBC articles on the internet or The Guardian or the Daily Mail, as I say, because those clicks, I think they have some energy in their own right. It shows that you've engaged with their Jackanory nonsense. Instead, what should you focus on? You should focus on love, your family, read the Bible if you've not already done it, get close to nature, and do not engage with their nonsense. And this is the last time, for a year or two, that I'll mention this kind of phony, fake goings on in the Ukraine. I'm not even going to call it the three-letter word that begins with W and ends in R. So yeah, that's all I want to say today from the beach down at, it's about 25 degrees, something like that. You can see some people in the sea. So God bless.